Think about how we naturally build things together. We learn best by gathering around a shared table, laying out our ideas, and working through the problems out loud. Now, picture a highly capable new assistant joining your group at that table. At first, there was a strict rule. You could only communicate with this assistant by sliding short written notes across the wood. We call this text prompting. Look at this note. Try explaining the exact layout, atmosphere, and dimensions of an entire town square using just a few scribbled sentences. You leave out too much. It is a frustrating way to work. Let's pull up a chair and look at a much more natural, expansive way to communicate with this tool. Because when we force ourselves to rely on just words, we bottleneck our own progress. Our ideas are simply too detailed to fit into a tiny text box. This practice of using every piece of context to explain an idea is called multimodal prompting. It is a return to how we already communicate in person. Think of the first mode, text, as your direct instructions. It is how you tell the builder exactly what steps to take. Then we add the second mode, images. Words often miss spatial details, but this glossy photograph instantly shows the builder the exact arch and texture of the brick bridge we need. The third mode relies on documents. These are the thick stacks of local building codes, historical records, and background rules that give the project its necessary context. This diagram shows how it comes together. When you combine those three distinct inputs, the text, the image, and the document, they merge into a single, unified set of instructions for the assistant. Because the assistant finally has the complete picture, you spend far less time fixing misunderstandings or tearing down false starts during the actual build. Multimodal prompting equips the tool to process the full spectrum of human context. That complete context leads directly to a richer and far more accurate result. Having all these tools at the table only works if everyone agrees on what they are trying to build. Before anyone picks up a hammer, the group needs a shared plan to make sure every effort helps finish the project. By setting these clear goals early on, you prevent wasted effort. You ensure the final build actually serves a real need for the people using it. Introducing new ways of working can feel uncomfortable for some. You win over the skeptics by being transparent about the process and providing clear, easy-to-follow guidelines. We call these safety rules governance. You establish a clear forward path, placing solid boundaries to keep the project on track. Along that path, you define success with measurable checkpoints. By monitoring these markers, you can actively adjust your approach based on real results. Balancing a solid plan with clear boundaries and careful tracking is what turns a new tool into a reliable way to get things done, month after month. Look at the table after a highly productive planning session. The tools, the blueprints, the hard-won discoveries, they are left out in the open for the next person to use. This is how a group grows its capability. It is the golden rule of the table. When you figure out an effective way to instruct the assistant, you document it and share it so the entire group improves. By combining our written words, our visual references, and our detailed documents, we are allowing our technology to actively participate in our shared vision. Mastering this does not require a technical degree. It requires careful planning, a commitment to check your progress against real data, and a willingness to share what you learn. There are no barriers to entry for those willing to collaborate. Pull up a chair and let's start building.